Hello world, it's Lee coming to you live from Start Me Up Hong Kong Festival 2019. We're at the Connected Cities Summit and I'm here with the Head of Innovation for Business Finland, Arto Mustikkaniemi.
Pretty close.
I got it right on the practice run, but then I got it wrong on the... So tell us, Arto, what brings you to Hong Kong?
Well, first of all, it's this event that KPMG had pulled together with, of course, Invest in Hong Kong and Start Me Up Festival. And, well, the connected cities as a theme, or smart cities, is one big theme that Finland has put lots of effort on. We have invested on that for past, let's say, since 2012. We started up a program called Innovative Cities. And there we funded lots of new innovations around the smart cities area. So that's the background, and now we are still running this like 6 cities program where we are developing 6 major cities in Finland to be more innovative, and that's what brought me here, and I was one of the panelists here today as well.
Right. And so on the panel, what was the key messages on the panel and the discussion points?
I would say it's more about the citizen engagement, and there was a poll in the end as well. What is the most important source for the smart cities? And it's the people. So I think that's more or less it, and I emphasize myself at least that we see, as I represent partly the government as well, that we see the government is the enabler of the innovations. We create the tools, we provide the funding in some cases, but we create the platforms as well. And what I mean with the platform, of course, it's an acronym from the IT industry at least, but the platform in this smart city case as well is that we create platforms to test new solutions. We give companies, institutions, universities opportunities to create new solutions in these platforms where you can freely test among maybe even the normal customers and citizens. So that's the kind of beauty that we have believed that we are building in all these cities around Finland, that they would test new solutions because they don't know what is the future. They don't know that the citizens, the cities and the governments, we are not the ones creating the new solutions. We provide the tools, funding, the platforms, and that's what I believe.
Yeah. And so Business Finland's role in that, what does Business Finland do?
Well, Business Finland, first of all, we are a new organization just established in 1st of January last year. Yeah. So earlier I represented Tekes, which was a Finnish innovation funding agency and main funding actor in Finland, providing grants and loans to the startup companies, SMEs and big companies as well. So that's the kind of renewing different industries, giving them funding to renew and establish new innovations. And Business Finland now is a combination of trade promotion as well as the innovation funding, because we saw a gap between the innovations, more or less what it means is that, of course, you commercialize some research or inventions and bring them to the market, but then as well how to scale them up. And then we are having a global network of 40 different countries around the world. I'm based in Beijing, and I represent Business Finland there. And what we do is we connect China and different cities in China to Finland, and we try to take into in the innovation field. We try to take into the ideas from China as well, that the companies in Finland, the organization in Finland, are not developing the solutions only for the Finnish market or the European markets, but they will take the global perspective when developing. Yeah. But then the other arm is this trade promotion arm, which means that we are helping the companies to come to China and do the export. So it's an export promotion. And then there's an invest in work as well done, that we attract the investments to Finland. And we have been pretty successful on that, especially in the R&D field, that lots of international organizations have established their R&D nodes in Finland. Right. And then we are doing Visit Finland as well, which is then attracting the tourists to come to our nation. So that's a combination of, let's say, trade promotion and attracting people to Finland as well the innovation funding.
Fantastic. I mean, you know, I've mentioned to you off camera that I've done a bit of research on Finland. I have Scandinavian heritage. My family's from Denmark, yeah. And I have good friends in Sweden. I know that's not Finland, but it's that Scandinavian region. Yeah. But from a Finnish perspective, they're very progressive in their innovation and particularly around education. What do you think the reason is for that?
Well, I think in some sense we have learned our lesson. I mean with what we have learned our lesson is that there was an industrialization early in the 90s, 1900 in Finland, as well as then there was a pulp and paper industry which was strong. Then there was IT or telecommunications industry led by Nokia, which was strong. But then I think at some point we felt that we cannot trust on the few pillars of industries and just to train our people to do the work for them. So we want to have like holistic view on different industries and support that as well. And education has been in the heart of that all the time. And education as well and innovations and renewing all the industries in Finland is in the kind of, I would say more or less in the DNA of us as well, because we don't have natural resources.
Right.
Finland doesn't have more or less any natural resources. Now we are having some battery technology related lithium and some chemicals as well related to batteries, but nevertheless it's small. It's really small industries. We have lots of wood still. 70% of our country is covered by the wood or the forests.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the basic of our industries as well, to use that kind of raw materials that we have. But in essence, we trust that it's the education which will lead in the future as well the development of our nation, and that has always been the core as well. And we appreciate our education institutes, we appreciate our teachers, and we want to really to provide equal opportunities to all citizens of Finland.
Well, certainly there's no doubt that Finland is leading the world in terms of education and the progressive approach to that.
Thanks for saying that.
No, I mean that quite sincerely. I've done a lot of research around it, and it's amazing what you're doing. And I think a lot of the rest of the world can take a lead from that and learn from what you're doing there. And even in Mike Moore's documentary, he did a profile of a part of Finland.
Yeah, he did.
And it's really fascinating the approach they're taking.
Yeah.
And it's making such a remarkable difference.
Yeah, well, that's a point as well. I don't want to tell my story and my background, how I ended up here, but nevertheless, I think it's highly supported by the Finnish government and the system of the education. So even with the poorer background, you have the opportunity to really to succeed in your life, and everyone believes in that as well. So, and all the schools, I would say, and I'm saying it as well, that all the schools in Finland, elementary school, high schools, middle schools, and all those are equally good.
Yeah.
So we don't want, first of all, we don't want to rank our schools.
Right.
There's no schools ranking because all the teachers are equally good. They are all taught in universities. We don't accept any other than university taught teachers in our schools, elementary schools as well as kindergarten. That's a bit different. Then we have lots of nurses or whatever taking care of the kids as well. But nevertheless, it's a university degree that you need to have and hold in order to teach our kids. And we believe in that as well. And in that perspective as well, the teachers are really highly appreciated. They are well educated and they know what they are doing.
Yes.
And that should be the case as well. And then it covers the whole network of teachers, and schools covers whole Finland. And we try and we have been succeeding in that to provide equally good teaching and education for all our citizens.
I know, and the teachers seem to be very happy, and the kids are happy, and they're not giving them homework. And one of the teachers that was interviewed, I saw, actually quoted and said, well, we want kids to be able to be kids, to have outside activities, extracurricular activities. It's important for them, and not to bombard them with homework outside of that.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what divides us from the Asian countries, for example, because I just discussed with some of the people here in Hong Kong, and they want to renew that thinking that they have as well. Of course, saying that we have less competition in our countries among the students than they have here, being the highly dense populated areas in Hong Kong and the rest of the Asian countries and big cities. So I think that's one of the reasons that we feel that maybe we are not pushed as well as the kids so much for the competition. But nevertheless, we still believe, and there are studies as well supporting that these young kids learn first of all from each other when they need to socialize more, and it's not just sitting at the desk and then learning what the teacher says. So it's communicating, socializing, and giving space to that. But as well, they need to have more time to digest. And like I could give, and I was about to give a presentation here why Finland is so innovative. And the kids in the elementary school are given roughly maybe 1 hour homework per day. That's it.
Right.
It shouldn't be more than 1 hour kind of your time after the school. And the school, in the, let's say, first graders, the school is roughly around 4 to 5 hours per day. Compared to at least the China and my friends that I know in China, it's totally different. It's like 10 hours for the even for the first graders. So I think there are differences, and there, as I said, we based more or less our knowledge in the studies, and what really drives the kind of learning of the kids. And it's not really to keep them occupied whole day and give them lots of homework. They need to have freedom, they need to have time to discuss, they need to have time to exercise as well, do sports, because there's a linkage, and there's studies proving that as well, that it gives you more oxygen to your brain, and the blood circulation enhances, and all that helps you to digest all the information that you got during the day.
Yeah. Amazing, man. I could stand here and talk to you about this all day, but we can't. But thank you very much for talking with us, Arto. I really appreciate it. And keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Start Me Up Hong Kong 2019 YouTube channel down below, and check us out at Beach City Life on Facebook. We'll be back with more.